What's up, nerds? Tony here with the Critical Role recap for Campaign 3, Episode 11, entitled Chasing Nightmares. When last we left off, our party had been on the hunt for a wild man by the name of Gurge at the behest of Chetney Pokapee, a gnome rogue who has joined our party. The search led them to the Moon Tower and the mysterious Nightmare King, who is basically a combination of Slenderman and Jack Skellington and every nightmare you've ever had about the things that hide in the dark corners of your room. A massive fight ensues that takes up most of the episode, actually, and we learn some very important things. We learn that the Nightmare King has Gurge held prisoner. We learn that he is scary as hell. We also learn that Gurge is a doggone werewolf. Ira, which is the Nightmare King's given name, turns out to be the one responsible for animating furniture. We learn this because he sicks a couple of tables and chairs on our party. We learn that Chetney is also a goddamn werewolf. He's actually an Order of the Lycan blood hunter rather than a rogue. Maybe he multi-classed. I don't know. The Nightmare King seems to know Fern. He comments that she smells like a Calloway, which of course is her last name. As somebody from the Fey realm, we sense that there's going to be further connection there because they do not get the kill on the Nightmare King. He dimension doors his way out as the party escapes an arcane explosion that destroys the Moon Tower, and they head off to a tavern to reflect. At the Weary Way, the party plus Gurge talks all kinds of werewolf stuff. It's made clear that they should never pass on the curse. We know this because Fern seems to be hinting around to the fact that she'd like Gurge to go ahead and bite her. He says no, of course not. Chetney is sort of seeming like, oh yeah, it's great being a werewolf, and he is told no, don't do that either. Gurge eventually bounces out. The party talks about their priorities. They decide to go back to Lord Eshtaros, whose name is pronounced differently yet again. I'm not sure why they keep changing up the dude's name, but whatever. They organize their plans, and of course, as with any adventuring party with a whole bunch of important stuff ahead of them, they choose Spa Day. That's their first choice. Okay. After some treatments, they decide they're going to take up Orem's task of meeting up with Oshad Breshio, aka the Anger. There are connections made between the attack on the Loomis twins and Duggar, talking about people being weird, goopy, shape-shifting, all kinds of black goop mentioned. Also, connections are revealed between an attack on the Ashari back home and the attack on the Loomis twins. There's mention made of Heartmore, which we've heard already. It's on the list of the party's priorities thanks to Ashton's dealings with his patron. It seems that Heartmore is the next stop on the tabletop RPG train. We also have some foreshadowing of a well-trained cabal of fighters that even the Anger couldn't deal with. Are we getting ninjas? I think we're getting ninjas. Next up, Ashton pops by his patron's abode, and we may very well have the party's name. It's heavily hinted that the New Nobodies could possibly be the name, as Ashton tells the doorman to let the lady of the house know that the New Nobodies stopped by, and the party's like, oh, that sounds great. I don't know. That could be it. Whatever. We'll find out. She is not at home, so Ashton and the crew leave. And the next thing on the list of priorities is the Starlight Conservatory, where Imogen and Laudna were trying to gain access way back in the beginning of our campaign. Imogen is finally granted the access to the library that she wants with Lord Eshtaros's letter, but only her, so the rest of the party must wait outside. Imogen rolls very low, and so it takes a really long time for her to find what she needs, but she does discover an academic study about red storm nightmares like the ones that she's been having. The study mentions her mother, but after that, the pages are torn out, and we end the episode on that bombshell. Great episode, big fight, super cool villain character in the Nightmare King, lots of things coming up. We're going to skip a week because there is a special episode, but we will be back with episode 12 very soon. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on social media at WeThemNerds. Like, subscribe, check us out, all of our other videos. Be good to each other. Later, nerds.